we go.
Mellow beat.
Don't make no more noise.
I had to break stuffies.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? We're here, Mellow, here for week 9 NFL. Hope everybody's having a great day. Let's jump into this, man, before Thursday Night Football. All right, as you can see, got my favorite plays. We're going to have favorite stacks, injury news, try to find the best value into the slate to try to cash for this week. Did pretty good last week. Man, our boy Jonathan Taylor went insane. Man, look, he's in a tougher matchup this week with Pittsburgh, but should be a great match nonetheless. But let me know what y'all think. What y'all do last week? Let me know what your favorite plays were. Did you cash? My boy Jahan Dotson did his thing. I mean, it took the last bit of the game to get 40 yarder with a touchdown, but it was great value for 3,000. Definitely paid up on that end. I actually did I think it was a plus 25 yarder. It was a plus 100, and you had the plus 40, which was like a plus 235. Definitely helped me out on that end. Man, but boy Barkley did his thing. We kind of saw that with opportunities without AJ Brown. Definitely pulled through on that end, so that actually helped out. Who else did we have? Algier for anytime touchdown was a great play. Man, we had a few good spots. We had let's see, Olave. Who else? Let's see, Pitts was a good play for the Falcons. Otten was a horrible spot. I thought he would definitely do better with the injuries on Tampa. But nonetheless, we back at it, y'all. Let's jump right into it. Going to the quarterbacks. I'm going to dive into each position and then try to cash up. So, all right, going to the quarterback slot where we have, I mean, you got the biggest game of the slate. Should be Buffalo and Kansas. We're looking at a 52.5 implied total in this match. Obviously, with Mahomes, 7,100 is pretty steep. He did have 17 last week, but should be a great matchup with him. Especially trying to say, who's the boss? Who's the boss? So, I mean, going against Josh Allen should be a great match to watch. And they're gonna pull out their strings. So, if you want to pay up to where you want to look at, Patrick Mahomes. See, against Buffalo, I mean, playing at Buffalo, he actually hasn't been as effective at Buffalo in his history. He's only averaging around probably 18, maybe 18 plus fantasy points. So I might have to fade that. He did have a big game against Washington where he had a 24 fantasy point game last week. He had 26 against the Raiders. But going against Buffalo, where they actually not giving up as much passing yards as we think. They only allowing 180 passing yards. So that could be concerning for Mr. Patrick here for his price point. So I might fade that. I might have to fade that action right there. Now on the other end, you have Josh Allen that actually been consistent playing Kansas at home. He had 30 and 24 in the last two matchups, in which he had 24 last year in week 11, where he had a touchdown and he also ran for a touchdown. So in the last two matchups at home, he has 3 touchdowns. He ran 3 touchdowns in the last two matchups. So if you want to pivot from Patrick Mahomes and go down to Josh Allen, even though Josh Allen is priced up, I mean, he's 73 on DraftKings, and you're looking about 89 on FanDuel. I mean, I think it's a good cash spot for him in this matchup for the Chiefs, as he's averaging around 30 fantasy points in 9 high-scoring games, around 25 and over 20 games. So that's something you want to look into for Josh Allen, as he always comes to the occasion in this type of matchup, showing who's the best when it comes to him versus the Chiefs. So I think you got to go up to Josh Allen for cash. Next play, we do have Daniel Dimes going against Pittsburgh. Now he's playing at Pittsburgh. One thing is concerning is that he has not been as effective on the road. He did have 15 against the Titans, and then he had 12 against the Raiders. But he did have that bounce back against the Chargers with 22 fantasy points. So hopefully, I mean, again, going against Pittsburgh, which I feel you have to pass against this squad, where they're giving up about 293 passing yards. All right, to opposing QBs, around 1.9 passing touchdowns a game, averaging 23 fantasy points allowed to the position. You did have Justin Love that had that 30 burger last week. You had Flacco that had 28 fantasy points. And then you had Carson Wentz out of all players. Carson Wentz in week 4 had 26 fantasy points. So Daniel Dimes should be a great play. I mean, he is 6,200, but he's not as expensive as like a Mahomes or Josh Allen. What's up, Don? Who would you play on this showdown slate tonight? Honestly, I actually haven't looked into it. We do have Lamar back. You know, he's back in this game for tonight. So, Jackson has been effective against Miami in his last 4 matchups. He had 36, 16, and 21, but he did have a 20. He had a 48 and 22. He had a 39 against Miami, and that was last time was 23. He said I was going to take Jackson and pair him up with a tight end. I feel like he should eat in this matchup. I mean, he should eat. So, let's see. They're giving up around 211 passing yards to the position.
Daddy.
I'm on.
Look.
Yeah, Lala.
I can catch my ball. Look.
Let's see about Tua. I mean, I feel like Tua might be a bust because he did have his biggest game last week against Atlanta. And I really feel like that was a fluke, but I digress on that. So I think you should go Jackson for quarterback. Let's see, running backs. Not loud enough. Go. Go, please. Close the door. I think we could go back to the well with Derrick Henry. He should eat in this matchup. I think he got his confidence back, and he's in a good matchup against Miami, where they're giving up around 117 rushing yards to the position. So, I mean, Derrick Henry looks optimal here as well. Trying to see anybody else that might be a good play. Let's go to receivers. Receivers for Miami. That's the thing, though. They give up a lot on. That's one thing about the Ravens. They give up to the position. They give them about around 56, fantasy points to the receiver side. So we gotta figure out who is the play on receivers. You got Malik Washington. I mean, he's been effective. I mean, he's been on a nice little incline in the last two matchups. He did have 8 against Cleveland, and he had that breakout with a 13 fantasy point game. He was 4 for 5 with a touchdown. Malik Washington could be a good saving spot. Yeah, no doubt. No problem. Trying to see who else could you pair him up with. I'm thinking Zay Flowers. I mean, Zay Flowers been effective in his on the road. He had 31 in week 1. He had 31 fantasy points against Buffalo in week 1. Then he had 14 against the Chiefs. He did have a good game with Huntley last week. We did have Flowers last week. He had 14 fantasy points, so he definitely paid up on that end. But could be effective here. Zay Flowers, you want to pair him up with Lamar. Let's see who else. I mean, you got Rashad Bateman. I feel like he a relationship with Bateman more so than Flowers. That's my opinion. But in the last 3 matchups against Miami, he had 14, 23, and 9 in the last 3 matchups against Miami. In those games, they were with Jackson. So you might go over Rashad Bateman. Rashad Bateman could be a great play, and he's cheaper. So, and he look like he's in a slight incline as well. I'll go Rashad Bateman as well. Okay, Rashad Bateman. I do like Hopkins. Hopkins been a nice little up and down trend. You already know I'm a trend guy. So if you want to go Hopkins, he had 26 and 18. He had 6, 28, 5. This could be a breakout game for Hopkins. Yes, he's been real effective. He's averaging around 16 fantasy points versus Miami. So maybe get some nice little savings action with DeAndre Hopkins. Also, might have to look at Hopkins for anytime touchdown. It could be a good spot. I mean, he had 2 touchdowns, and Hopkins had 2 touchdowns in week 1 and 2. So it's not like he's not existing into the offense. And with Lamar back, I mean, Lamar, he tagged him in the last 2. In the first 2 games of the season with Buffalo and Cleveland. He had his first 2 touchdowns with Lamar. So it could be a great spot with Hopkins. Might want to plug him in for anytime touchdown. I think he'd be a great spot to also look into. It look like Hopkins could be a great play for value, but nonetheless, I'm not gonna play the DFS thing, but I'm more likely gonna have a play. Definitely gonna have a play with Hopkins for anytime touchdown. I think it might be the spot for him tonight. He's good value too. So let's see, tight ends. Flowers, Hopkins, Jackson. I'm not sure. I mean, I like Flowers, but then again, I'm looking at Bateman. I think Bateman might be the spot. All right, so let me look into tight ends. Let's see. You got Likely. He's back in the mix. You got Andrews now. So Andrews been real effective against Miami in his history. So Mark Andrews actually has 3 touchdowns in the past 3 matchups against Miami. So if you want to look at a Mark Andrews touchdown, it could be a real effective spot, as he has 3 touchdowns in his career against Miami in every game. So that could be something to look at. He had 27, 18, and 28 in the last 3 matchups. So he's balling against Miami. Is that likely he could get coin? Yeah, he could. I mean, he's not. We'll see, because, I mean, he was out the first 3 games of the season. And, of course, with Lamar being out, they haven't been, tagging him. So that could be a reason right there where he only had 2 fantasy points in the last 3 matchups. But Andrews could be a better spot here, and he's still cheap for his price. So I might look at Mark Andrews. He's been real effective. Now on the Miami side, the question is who, because Darren Waller is now okay. So Darren Waller's out. So we gotta figure out who is the tight end. It might be Tanner Connor. Tanner Connor is more likely their starter with Waller being out. And Baltimore is one of those teams you do target against tight ends. They're giving up an average 62 yards to the tight end position, around 6 receptions a game, around 16 fantasy points a game to the position. So maybe Tanner Connor could be the play. It's either him, Hayden, or the Rushi. I don't really know who that is. Let's see who else. I'm assuming it should be Tanner Connor. Tanner Connor should be the play. I mean, he is cheap. He's around $2,800. So if you want to look at a tight end spot where they're vulnerable, I think Tanner Connor for value could be a great play. Let's look into the kickers. Got Tyler Loop. And he's averaging around 11 fantasy points on the road. He had 13 against Buffalo, and he had 9 against Kansas. So if you want to look at Tyler Loop, it says Miami is giving up around about 2 field goals a game to kickers. So if you want to look at a Tyler Loop for kicker, that could be a good spot. Yeah, Tyler Loop could be a great play. But I think that's about it, honestly. I'm trying to see who else. Yeah, Achane. He's actually been effective at home. He had 26 against New England, 17 against the Jets. He had 34 against the Chargers. So, I mean, I think that's an obvious spot if you want to go Achane. Let me see if Gordon the second is anything. I might pass on Gordon. So, yeah, the only person I'm really looking at for Miami is maybe a Malik Washington. Obviously got Waddle, but I think Malik Washington is the play for them. And receivers, I really feel like it's going to be Bateman. But then again, I like DeAndre Hopkins. I think he's going to be overlooked here. And then tight ends, you got Tanner Connor for value, Mark Andrews. I think he's a great play. So those are my spots, I think, for tonight's game. Honestly, I might want to throw in a little slip. I might want to throw something in. So let me throw something. I mean, shit, that didn't take long to do. Yeah, I might want to throw something in there. All right, so captain, I probably would go captain. Who I would go captain? I think I would go Andrews for captain. All right, pair it with Lamar. We got Achane, got Henry. Get some value with Hopkins. And we have one more position, 4,100. So I could either go down to like a Tanner Connor for 2,800. Likely is not bad. Likely is 2,000. That's not a bad spot for likely. Or we could go Ravens. Okay, well, let's see about their defense. Maybe Ravens defense is a spot. Maybe go Ravens. I mean, Ravens defense could be a good play. If we're looking at, cause I just feel like the way that Tua played last week, I feel like that was his optimal play last week to where he might fall on his ass this week. And Ravens defense could go ape shit this weekend, today. So maybe the defense could be a good spot to where I went. So I went Andrews, Jackson, Achane, Henry, Hopkins, and Ravens defense could be a good spot. I'm gonna just plug that in. I think that's a good play. All right. If any other questions for that, just let me know. All right, let me get back into the stream. Okay. Go back to quarterbacks. So yeah, talking about Daniel Dimes. Now, his average, he's averaging a roughly 257 passing yards a game, 21 fantasy points a game, but he's only averaging around 16 on the road. That's kind of concerning, but he's in a good matchup against Pittsburgh. They're giving up almost 300 passing yards to the position, so really feel like Daniel Dimes could be a great play. I really like this Indy stack as well, so I think for cash, I think Daniel Dimes is still a great play. Even though he's 6,200, I still feel like he's in a good spot here. Just for his price point. The fact that he's still under like 6,500 still keeps him in good light. So Daniel Dimes definitely a good spot to look at. Now looking to the opposite side, we do have Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron Rodgers also is in a good spot. He's 58, so I think he'd be more so GPP for 5,800. Now, he has been effective playing the Colts in his history. He had 27, 26, and 16 in the last 3 matchups. And, I mean, that goes all the way down to like 2016, but that's kind of irrelevant after when you're talking about 2016, 2020. But he did have 16 last year against them in Week 11, which they lost by 1 point. He did have 2 touchdowns in that matchup, but he does have better pieces around him on Pittsburgh. I really like the stack as well for Pittsburgh in this matchup for the Colts. Now, Colts was giving up an average 271 passing yards to the position, around 1.8 passing touchdowns to the spot, and they're giving up around 25 fantasy points on the road. So to have Aaron Rodgers at home, this could be a great play for GPP. So I do like Aaron Rodgers. 5,800 should be a good, and it's looking at a good matchup. Looking at a 50.3 implied total. So if you want to pivot from the chalk of Kansas City and Buffalo, then this could also be a great match that you could also pivot to. So definitely want to get some pieces in this type of matchup. All right, so let me go ahead and plug these guys in. All right, we talked about Josh Allen. Allen's cash. I do like Danny Dimes. I think you gotta go GPP for AR Rodgers. Let me see this real quick. Okay. Let me move this over. All right. All right, next play. I think Jared Goff. All right, he hasn't been getting no love, but he's 6,000, and he is going against Minnesota. I really feel like it's going to be a great matchup, and they're looking at a 48.5 implied total, but I really feel like it's going to be a great game, especially for him. Now, he's averaging, let's see, he had 21, 29, 23. He did have a bad game last year with 11 fantasy points, but overall, he's been a real effective playing Minnesota at home. Hopefully, he don't have a stinked-up game like last season against them at home, but going against them now, Minnesota's not giving up much, but they're giving up around 204 passing yards a game, but they are giving up 1.6 passing touchdowns a game to the position, and they're also giving up around 19.8 fantasy points against them at home. So, want to look at Jared Goff for 6,000. I really feel like he's in a great play. Like the guy that's on my cover, you got Amara St. Brown, looks dominating this matchup. Sam Laporta, hopefully he could get some more plays because he is real effective against them. So yeah, we got a couple pieces where I really feel like Jared Goff could be underlooked here, but nonetheless, he's in a great matchup. Jared Goff for 6,000. Let's see who else. Now you do got Caleb going against the Bengals. He didn't do well last week. He just had a horrible game. He had 12 fantasy points against Baltimore with an interception, no touchdowns. And I feel like he's in a way better matchup. I mean, you would think against the Ravens defense, but he's in another great matchup going against Cincinnati, and he's still undervalued. They pay him up $100 more this week, but he's still under 6,000. Going against the Bengals that has given up an average 262 yards in the air. They're giving up 2.1 passing touchdowns a game, and they also allowing 22 fantasy points at home. So Caleb should be another spot here. I think he's going to be GPP because I think a lot of people might pivot from him. Or like I said, you might go over Aaron Rodgers if you want to pay $100 more. If you want to pivot from the Caleb Williams, but he just hasn't been he's been shit, you know. But there's another 51 implied total match. So they're looking at a high implied total, and if he gets this game going, obviously he'll be optimal play because I feel like this whole offense is going to be wrapped around him. So if he just gets the ball going, if he throws like 3 touchdowns or runs the ball in, this is his first go against the Bengals in his career. So we don't know what he's going to do, but he's in a great matchup. We don't have no history with him facing them, but he's averaging around 22 fantasy points in 5 high-scoring games. Like I said, they're looking at a 51 implied total to where this could be a great play. He could be GPP because I definitely think he'll be low owned, but he's in a great matchup. Caleb Williams for value. All right, and let's see. And Caleb Williams. And who else did I talk about? I talked about Jared Goff. So I think those. See, we got 5 quarterbacks. I think those are the only ones I really want to go to. Honestly, is anybody else? Yep. Yes. Yes. All right. I think these are my 5 I like for this week. So let me dive into the next one. Yes. Huh? Are you being bad? No. Somebody's being bad. All right, let's look into the running backs. Let's see. Running backs. All right, so we just got Jonathan Taylor up top. I'm more likely going to fade Jonathan Taylor this week. I mean, he is priced up 98 on DraftKings. And he's, 11,000? 11,000 on FanDuel. I'm going to more likely pass on this play. I really feel like he hit that peak with that 40 last week. I mean, he definitely paid up and balled out, but I really feel like he's not in a good matchup here. So I'm more like on fade Jonathan Taylor in this play. Now, if I'm going to pivot down for another high-end spot, I really feel like you got to look at CMC going against the Giants. Now, he's 88 on DraftKings. He is 95 on FanDuel. But this is a spot where if I'm going to pivot from JT, I'm going to go CMC. Now, going against the Giants where they're allowing 116 rushing yards to the position, 26 fantasy points allowed to the spot as well. I really feel like he's going to eat in this play. He had a bad game against Houston last week. I think overall this game was just horrible. The offense didn't have nothing going on. The defense was on the damn field majority of the game. It was horrible to watch. But nonetheless, he always have a bounce. He always has a bounce back game. If he don't get a touchdown this last week, he's going to ball out. He's in a better match this week. I'm really surprised with Houston's defense, but in a bounce back spot against the Giants, 8,800 to me, he's going to give you that 25 plus. Even I'm looking at a plus 2 touchdowns as well. So give me some CMC in this play for tonight. He's definitely in a great play at 8,800. All right, next play. I really feel like he hasn't been talked about, but I really think we have to go back to Karen Williams. He's in a great play against the Saints. Saints is giving up around 31 fantasy points on the road. And he had a bad game against Jacksonville. He only had 8 fantasy points against them. And I really feel like it's a great bounce back spot. The last 2 matchups against the Saints, he's averaging 19.5 implied total. 19.5 fantasy points in the last two games. 6,800. We're looking about times 3. Yeah, we're looking to get that 18 to hopefully 20 plus in this matchup. So I'm hoping that he'll bounce back and ball out against this Saints defense. He definitely looked like he should. So, like Karen Williams here. Another spot, we got DeAndre Swift. Now, he did pretty good last week. He had that 15 fantasy point game against Baltimore. So, he has 4 touchdowns in the last 4 games. So, he's just been in a great play overall. He is questionable. He's still dealing with that groin injury, but he missed, I think, 2 practices this week. And that was on Thursday due to that groin injury that he's been battling with. But nonetheless, he's going against the Bengals, and Bengals is giving up around 132 rushing yards a game. I mean, they're just giving up. He should be a great play. You had Breece Hall that had that 35 fantasy point game. You had Jaden Warren had 22. You had Josh Jacobs with 32. Jahmyr Gibbs had 16. Dobbins had 15. So this could be a great play overall for Swift again, as he's been effective in the last 5 games. He had 16, 28, 30, 23, 15. Hopefully get that 15 plus, but with his price point at 6,100 to me is still a safe spot to where he can give us that 18 plus. That's what we're looking for. We're also looking into the Bears stack with Caleb. This might be a great play to look at. So DeAndre Swift also a great match to look into. Let's see who else I'm looking at. I think that's about it, honestly. Don't want to go too crazy. Oh, did we talk about James Cook? He balled out last week. He was my gut play, and he did his thing. And I'm glad he did. Now, going against the Chiefs, I might have to pass on it because he has 7,200, but he hasn't been effective against the Chiefs. So I might have to fade him on that end. Let's see. bunch of spam on my stream. All right, let me go ahead and plug these running backs in. All right, Cash, got CMC. You have K. Will. I think Swift is still a great play for GPPs. Gotta be another running back. I mean, then again, I don't really need that many running backs. Try to keep it light. We could definitely try to keep it light. Now, somebody that might be overlooked, I might have to go Travis Etienne Jr. for Jacksonville, going against the Raiders. He's been effective on the road. All right, so he had 16 against the Bengals. He had 22 against the Niners in his last 2 games on the road. So this could be a spot where for 5,600 for Travis Etienne Jr. could be overlooked and be low value. The fact that he's been a baller and on the road. And looking at the Raiders, they're only giving up around 82 rushing yards a game. But one thing about him, he's a combo back to where, they give up around 4.8 receptions to the position, 1.5 touchdowns a game to the position. So this could be a great play for Travis Etienne Jr. for 5,600. So let me plug him in just for GPP. I think that's like the value aspect for him. But nonetheless, the 2 guys I like here the most is CMC and Williams. But then again, for value, if you want to go Williams and Swift, is also a great play to where you can have some savings there. So I'm going to go Etienne. All right, I think that's about it. I don't really have too much going on. I got 4 backs, but those are the guys I like the most here. So anybody that have any running backs to look into, let me know. But nonetheless, I'm gonna dive into these receivers. Best believers. All right. All right, now going to the Pittsburgh game, we was talking about AR. So I think with DK, he's in a great matchup against the Colts. Whereas the Colts, like I said, they're giving up 55 fantasy points to the position. He did have 16 last time he faced them. Of course, that was in 2021 with a different team. But he did have 4 for 5 with a touchdown in that matchup for 16. And he's only 5,500, and he's real cheap. I think DK is a great play to look into. He's averaging around 5. Let's see. He's for the season, he's getting 6.1 targets, 15 fantasy points. But he has 5 touchdowns for the season. This guy has been a tank doing his thing. It's good seeing him balling. I think he's in a great matchup just for the price point. I mean, 5,500 is too cheap to not look at. So DK, great play for 5,500. Looking at a high implied total, so I gotta go Metcalf at 5,500. Now on trying to get some savings on Pittsburgh. I'm not sure if anybody looking into Calvin Austin. Not really sure if I'm gonna go that route. He's the only guy I really like here. Let's see who else I'm looking at. All right, now let's look into Keenan Allen. Now Keenan Allen is 5,600, and looking at him, he actually is in a good spot as well. Now Tennessee is giving up an average averages 162 receiving yards to the position, around 35 fantasy points allowed, but on the road they're giving up 44 fantasy points.
Daddy, I did it by myself.
Yeah, good job. You want to show everybody your tattoos?
Yeah, I did this one.
Ooh.
And the poker and this one.
Yeah. You want to show them your tattoos? Ugh. Show the tattoos in the camera. Oh. Which hand you got a tattoo at? This hand?
Yeah, look.
Oh, you got a goon in this one. Look at that.
Yeah, a zombie.
You got a zombie on there. You got a pumpkin. You got a zombie in this one. Oh, look at that zombie. Oh. Oh.
Yeah.
Good job, Lala.
Yeah.
Hiya, huya. Hiya. Hiyo. So yeah, Keenan Allen, great spot to look into. Let's see, he had a bad game against Minnesota, so it was a nice little trendy spot where he could bounce back here. He did have last time he played at Tennessee, and that was 2023. He had that big game, 34 fantasy point game with 2 touchdowns. He had 10 targets for 8 receptions, 111 yards. He had a big game there, so could be a nice spot, especially for his price point for 56. Hopefully, give us that 15. That's kind of what I'm looking at here for 15. But hey, we get more than that. I mean, that's a great spot overall. So, Keenan Allen's also a great play. Not really sure about Quentin Johnson. He was a dud last week. I'm not sure what happened. I don't know if he was hurt or what happened, but really not sure about the spot. Of course, they got both of these guys at a good range. So you got Keenan Allen 5,600. But my thing about it is that Keenan Allen's getting those targets. He's averaging around 8.8 targets a game. So that definitely is a good spot. I feel more safe playing Keenan Allen, and he's healthy, so that's a good thing. So, all right, let's see who else is we looking to. We do have Let me get both of these guys in play. Let's go ahead and put receivers. I think Metcalf, just for the value aspect for Metcalf. That's a good spot. You got Allen for 56. Great play to consider there. And let's see. Got Michael Pittman. He's been real effective in the last 2 matchups. So he's in a great matchup again against Pittsburgh. He had 20, 23 in the last 2. He had 20 against the Chargers, 23 against the Titans. So he has 6 touchdowns for the season in 8 games. So that's good to know. He has 7 targets a game. He's averaging 15.7 fantasy points a game. And Pittsburgh is allowing 182 receiving yards to the position, around 40 fantasy points allowed to receivers. This is a great match for him. He's still under 6,000, which is a good spot. Of course, he's been climbing up the charts in the last 3 matchups. So he was 5,100 in week 7. So he went 51, bounced up to 56 last week, and now he's 59. So Michael Pittman, definitely a great play, just because the fact of Pittsburgh has been garbage against the receivers. Obviously, they got Jamar Chase had 41 fantasy points. You had Justin Jefferson with 25 as a receiver 1 spot. So Michael Pittman, great play. Trying to find some other value spots for Indy. I really feel like you can't just look at Pittman. Maybe like an Alec Pierce. Maybe like a Josh Downs. Josh Downs could be another great play for value. He did have 12 last week against the Titans with a touchdown. He was 3 for 3 with a touchdown. But then again, he has Jalen. More likely gonna have Jalen Ramsey on him on that matchup. But T Higgins balled out. He had 21. He had Addison had 18. I'm not sure if Josh Downs could be the spot here. Just trying to find some other value spots for Indy, because this is one of those teams where if it's not Pittman, everyone else is basically value and underlooked. So, but like I said, they're all in great plays. Like Josh Downs, 44, Alec Pierce, 46. So you got those guys. Like I said, I think Josh Downs, just for the heck of the price, 4,400 could be a value play. But then again, he has to have a touchdown to try to hit this value. If he's not gonna get a touchdown, he's gonna stay around like 6 to 8 fantasy points, and that's gonna hurt the lineup. So, so it's kind of hard to say just plugging him in because he needs a touchdown to do so. But I do like Pittman for cash. I think he's a nice play, obvious play against Pittsburgh. All right. Let's see what else. All right, so we want to go up. We want to pay up for Jamar Chase, 8,400. He's been a nice little up and down trend. We talked about him last week, and I was like, hey, just plug him in. But he only had 21 last week against the Jets. But like I said, he's just been real good at home. He had 39, 32, 41. Then he had that 21 against the Jets. So he bounced back into another great matchup to where he could ball out and get that 30 plus with his price point. So we want to pay up for Jamar Chase. He's going against the Bears. They're allowing 137 receiving yards to the position, around 35 fantasy points allowed on the road. So this is a spot where Jamar Chase could flourish at 8,400 and pay that price point, because all we need is around 25 fantasy points. But hopefully he could bounce back and get that average of that 28 to 30 plus fantasy points is what we're looking for. He is averaging 12 targets, 8.8 receptions, 90 receiving yards a game. He has 5 touchdowns in 8 games into the season. So Jamar Chase, love this play for him here. Now another play for cash where my guy for this week is Saint Amara. I keep saying Saint first. Amara St. Brown. It's in a great matchup. All right, now going against Minnesota, he has been flourishing against Minnesota in his history. Playing at home, he had 24, 13, 30, 13. Hopefully, a bounce back, give you that 20 plus here. He did have 2 touchdowns in the last 4 matchups at home against Minnesota. He's averaging around 26 fantasy points against Minnesota in his career. So Amara St. Brown for 83 to me is a great play to also look into. So I really see a 24 plus with a touchdown in this spot for this week. Yeah, Lat McConkey. I mean, he had 20. You had A.J. Brown with 31 in the last 2 matchups for the receiver 1 spot. So Amara St. Brown should eat here as well and pay that price point. All right, so for cash, I think you got to go Chase, St. Brown. Those are the 2 top dogs for the receiver spot. Of course, you got Justin Jefferson for 78. Is not bad. You got McCaffrey back to where this could actually help him here with McCaffrey back in the mix. But the question is the quarterbacks, man. Is McCaffrey the guy? Is he even? That's kind of where we at right now. Is the quarterback spot is ass for them. The only guy I'm really sold here is not if I'm gonna pay for anybody from Minnesota, I'm more likely going to go to Addison. Jordan Addison has been real effective for his price point. So to get a guy that's not like 2,000 less, I think Addison is a safer play in my opinion, just for 5,800. He's been real effective in his last 4 games. He's averaging 7 targets a game, 5 receptions for 77 receiving yards. He has 2 touchdowns in the last 4 games, averaging 17.5 fantasy points in the last 4. So get a guy that could give you that 15 plus for his price point. I think Addison is going to be overlooked here. So I think everyone's going to go to Justin Jefferson, which I understand. But I think Addison is the guy here. So going Addison for value. So it looks like if you want to find that value, it's going to be the like Metcalf, Allen, Addison type of guys under 6,000. If you want to pay down at the receiver spot. All right. Anybody else I'm looking at? I think that's about it. I don't really go too crazy. I think these 5 are real safe spots that I like the most here. If I'm a pay down, the guy I'm like looking at was Josh Downs. Let's see who else could be a nice little saving spot. Let's see for the season, receiver. Receiver season. Defense, receivers. Value. I really feel like you don't have to go value too. I don't think you have to go too crazy. Yeah, I really feel like you don't have to go too crazy with value for receivers. Jalen Naylor. He's 3,300. Naylor could be a good spot. Jalen Noel. Is Jalen Noel a good spot? Let's see. Jalen Noel's 4,000, but he's been effective in the last 3 matchups. So, in the last 3, he had 9, 11, and 11. Yeah, he's been a real effective spot, but going against Denver, I'm not sure if I want to go against Denver. He did have a red zone touchdown for 4,000. Jalen Noel. Is it Noel or Noel? But then again, these are I'm safe. I like these spots right here. I'm gonna leave those alone. All right, favorite stack so far into this stream. I think you gotta go Indy. Like Indy, I like the GPP is gonna be Chicago, Pittsburgh. Who's Pittsburgh facing again? Pittsburgh is going against Indy. Am I tripping? No, they're going against Indy. So Metcalf, Allen, Addison, Chase, St. Brown. I think Detroit. As of right now, see Allen, Jones, Goff, Rodgers. Yeah, these are 4 I like the most here for stacks. And let's go to tight ends, shall we? All right, now tight ends. Got a couple spots I like here the most. We got Tyler Warren. I think he's back in a great matchup. I mean, he's 5,500, but it's an ideal matchup against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's one of those teams that just gives up against this spot. They give around 79 passing yards to the spot, around 6 receptions, 0.9 touchdowns to the spot, around 21 fantasy points to the position. So I think Tyler Warren is going to eat. He had a horrible game against Tennessee. He only had 9, but then again, I mean, he's a boss, so I think he'll average that 15 plus in this matchup. So again, some Tyler Warren for tight ends is ideal. So I think he's definitely a cash buy here. Tyler Warren. Excuse me. All right, another great play. I think we got to go back to the Juwan Johnson. All right, he's going to be more so a value play, but he's been real effective playing the Rams. He's only 3,200, but he had 12 and 10 in the last 2, so that shows that he's still getting the targets. He had 7.5 targets in the last 2 matchups. He's been real effective against the Rams in his history. He has 2 touchdowns in the past 3 matchups against the Rams with 13, 14, and 8. Just for the price point for 3.2. I like Juwan Johnson for tight end for GPPs. Also for a nice little anytime touchdown. I also go his way. All right, so I like Juwan Johnson. And also we have we're gonna look to the opposite side of the game with Pat Freiermuth. All right, now the Colts, they also give up a lot to the position, around 19 fantasy points allowed on the road. On the road. He did have that 31 fantasy point game against the Bengals in week 7. Hopefully he keeps this flame going against Indy. Last time he faced Indy last year, he did have a 16 fantasy point game. He was 5 for 7 with a touchdown. That gave him that 16 plus. So for 3,100 could also be a great saving spot if you want to look into the Pittsburgh side of things. So definitely think for this price point for 3,100 is appealing. All right, so Freiermuth. All right. And another play. Yeah. Now we was talking about Sam Laporta. This guy's been real quiet this year. Real quiet. But I mean, he had a big game against the Bengals. He had 28 fantasy points. With 2 he did have a touchdown. I'm sorry. He had a touchdown, 5 for 6 with a touchdown. He had 2 touchdowns in the past 2 out of the last 3 games. So that shows that he's still getting looks on the field. So that's a good thing. He has 13 fantasy points in the last 2 matchups against Minnesota. So that's also a great thing to see. So for 4,300, I think Sam Laporta is a great spot for his price. And the upside, I mean, hopefully he gives that 10 plus, but like I said, he had 13 in the last 2 against them, playing at home. All right, back at home again. Sam Laporta. All right. And that should be all that I like here, I believe. Hold on, who's that tight end from the tight end from what's his name from Chargers? Yeah, Gaddison. Ondi Gadsden, 5,300. He could be back in the mix. I mean, he had 12 against Miami. He had a big game against the Colts for 3,200. Had a touchdown against Minnesota last week for 18 fantasy points. And now he's going against the Titans that gives up only around 43 fantasy points. 43 yards. Around 12 fantasy points at home to the position. But yeah, Warren only had 9 last week against them. Henry had 7. Yeah, Mayer that had 16. I don't know. I mean, he looks like he should be in a good play, but I'd rather pivot if he's gonna get 5,300. He's getting targets too, but they're not really giving up a lot to the tight end spot. That might hinder his ceiling. But then again, I mean, if you're gonna pay 5,000, like 5,300, I'd rather go to Warren. In my opinion. Let's see, what's this? Let me remove. Okay, and let's look into. I think that's about it. There's only these are the guys I like the most here. So. Yeah, those are the guys I like the most. Alright, let's go to our last play. Go defense. Alright, this stream has been the quickest stream. But nonetheless, we got good information. I think we got great plays here. So, if you like the video, please give a thumbs up. Please share. Alright, let's dive in. Defense. Alright, if you want to pay up, and you got Lions defense. I'm not really sure about what Minnesota's going to do. So it could be a spot where the Lions just go crazy. I mean, Minnesota's giving up around 3 sacks a game. They're playing good at home. They have 8, 19, 11 in the last 3 matchups at home. Let's see, that 9 and 8 and 5 and 6 in the last 4 against Minnesota. I do like Houston. I didn't really see much. In looking at research with Denver, but Houston could be a great play for 2,900. They had 14, 11, 18, 8 in the last 4 matchups. This could be appealing. I mean, playing them. I mean, they had 7, 14, 8 in the last 3 at home. Last time they played Denver in 2023, they had 10 fantasy points. I think Texans defense, 2,900 could be appealing for the price. Yeah, I like the price here for GPP for Texans. Whoops. All right, Houston defense, 29. I think Chargers, I mean, I'm not really sold on the Titans offense. So if you want to go Chargers for cash, $3,800. Chargers. Anybody else that I like that's cheap? I mean, I like the Rams defense. Then again, I don't know about the I don't know. One thing about the Bears, though, the Bears could be effective against the Bengals. Last time they played, that was 2017. I don't like that. It's just been real effective on the road, though. I lied. They always had a bounce back game, though. But for 3,100, I don't know if I'm going to go that route for 3,100. I think Lions defense could be a play. I like the Lions here. We really don't, like I said, I really don't know about their offense, about the Minnesota's offense. So we got Detroit for cash. Oh, what happened to my? Uh-oh. Anybody else? Falcons defense? No. Colts defense against Pittsburgh. Might be average. 35. I'm not paying 35 for that one. Jaguars against the Raiders. Jaguars 33. I want to find another play that's like in 2,000 range. Maybe no. Giants 49ers. I doubt it. Panthers against Green Bay. Might be surprising, but nah, I don't think that. Bills. Maybe the Bills defense. Let's see. Nope. I think I'm safe with these three. I actually like Houston though. Alright, y'all, this is a video. If y'all like the plays, y'all just give a thumbs up. Yo, hope we do good for this week. Hope we cash. Any questions, just comment back down on the video, or also hit me up on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, and we can chat on there. Alright, y'all be blessed. Y'all have a great weekend, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.